what do you see, or what do you hear in this clip that you think is at the heart of POLs, at the heart of what we're after when we're doing POLs, okay? And we'll collect a little of that as a way of kind of defining the essential question that we're trying to get at when we look at Ted and Kay's rubric. How can our rubrics get us to what is at the core of POLs? Okay, is that clear? Here we go.
What are the habits of the heart and mind? They aren't just habits that are mastered through continuous practice. They are habits mastered by connecting the heart to the mind. Here is the overall design. We have the overall structure. It's different levels. There's aquarium walls. It's just incredible. We got to choose what we wanted. The main thing about this project was how we split into groups.
Although he had the note cards, there was a point at which it seemed like he went to some place within himself that was not on the note cards and tried to bring in connections that he had made. And then also I felt like he had almost like a moment of learning within his POL, where he saw, oh, a light went on, and he made a new connection.
It's like the world, you know, a country. Some work on this, others work on that, but in the end, they all contribute to the same thing. So the habit learned here was cooperation. I did not mention mindfulness, and the reason why is because I am not very good at being mindful.
Why do you think mindfulness is so hard for you?
You know, I'm not even that sure. I guess it's because I don't like seeing the world how it is, because I don't know, sometimes it's boring. I like to dig around and imagine things. Like right now I would imagine you all as like exotic wizards or something like that. Just, I don't know, to make it more interesting. So I do that too much sometimes, and I go off in like some dream world or something, and you know, I kind of leave this world and things happen and I'm not here to see it.
And that's not something that you can, like, he wasn't prepared. Right.
We'll see what
This is a drawback, but also seeing how he could harness that.
Allison made a good point. She said he felt safe to share it within his environment, which is something about the culture. But also, this student, he just, I don't know, he went inside himself and talked about it. He was okay with that.
Okay, are we ready for the next one?
You know, I've always been impressed with your imagination and the way you dream. I'm really glad that you feel the determination and act upon those. What would you act on first of one of your dreams, if you care to share?
Well, this is gonna sound silly, and I'm starting to do it actually. But ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be on Disney Channel. And on the when New Year's came, I decided I would try my best because I'm not getting any younger. So I started going to acting classes with my friend Angela, and now I'm in an acting class, and I don't know, I hope that's one little step that will take me closer. You know, at least I'm not just standing there doing nothing. And I hope to get a role there or something someday.
We're talking about these balances. How real is it versus contrived? We don't want contrived POLs. We want them real. I mean, this is, I think, something we can all agree on. But then there are these other balances that we have to strike. And it's not one versus the other. But what is the right balance between presentation and dialogue in our POLs? What's the right balance between accountability, tell me what you know, and reflection, tell me more about, give me some evidence of this, talk about your learning and what you've learned and so on. So it's another balance to strike. And then we're looking at many possible structures as ways to get at that, and the rubric will kind of reflect the structure that we choose to get at the balances that we want.
You have passed your POL. There were a little bit of errors, but I mean, overall, I was excited that you were taking risks in your POL. Whenever you take a risk and do something different, you have to be sure, polish it to death. And so it pulled off a little bit shaky, a little bit rocky sometimes, but I thought you did really outstanding, and you definitely meet our standard for what delivery should look like in a POL. Your evidence, I think you set yourself up well with your DP and your work samples, but leaving out parts of the speech really hurts you here. So you meet our standard, but that is one of the reasons why we could not say that you could exceed it. But you did well with your evidence. Your
reflection question answer was awesome. We know that about you, and that's where I knew you would shine. You're very honest. I think you're a wonderful person. I love your dreams, and I really am excited about where you're going to be, where you're headed, and taking the acting classes. I think is a great step towards getting to your dreams. I think that's wonderful, and so great job. Great job.
I think this might be the first time I've seen it. Is immediate feedback. Usually you just power through some presentations and then they get a grade for it later, and if they want to sit down and talk to you about it, they can, or you have some sort of something you give them to them later, or it's a conversation that's happening at a later time. So I think it's interesting having that conversation about how they did immediately after the presentation. So I don't know if anyone else has seen that, but that's the first time I've seen that happen. I think it's cool because oftentimes you'll talk to someone about their TPLs later, and they'll question, like, "Are you sure I didn't see that? Like, I thought I talked about that, or okay, I guess I did." So I don't know. I think having it immediately is kind of cool.
What I thought about that was interesting about that immediate feedback also was that I know just from having been in there that there were other students in the room during that time, and so other students are hearing a variety of types of feedback, even if it wasn't theirs, and so there's, I think, unintentional growth for those students that was happening from that as well.
Look at the draft rubric with the same question. What do you see in this rubric that you think might get us to the core of what's at POLs?
Another question. So there's just no way to compare.
I like just how the time is laid out where it's like 2 to 3 minutes for presenting, but the bulk of it is really on creating a dialogue. I think that sets it up for a conversation rather than an accountability.
Talking about the dialogue again, or the conversation, I liked again the balance that you put. You want to be comfortable, but you want to be professional. You want to be comfortable enough I believe that you're saying, so we can actually have a meaningful dialogue, but you have to be professional. There's certain protocols you must meet if we're going to have this, as you're going to get scored on this. So I like that.
It's good you guys picked on the things that we really put a lot of thought into, and we really debated about putting in and changing. The community members and the panelists. Why would we do that? And then, well, that's a good idea. They can ask questions as well. So the effort was to also encourage the substance of it and not the flash and everything. So.
And I think, what we're really hoping to get at is something that's really important to me is authenticity. And I don't want to ever see a student doing a TPL just because they have to. And we feel that by creating an emphasis on the dialogue, we are engaging with them, and there's give and take. So it's not just, well, let me meet these different standards that you said I had to. We can dig into what they have to say. And I think it's all going back to authenticity, which for me is one of the highest values in what we do at High Tech High, because it's real, and that's why it matters.